goodness, I almost got rid of all of these books today, and I was just going through my notes on what kind of videos I wanted to shoot for you guys because I wanted to give you like some information that's just going to help you out. I see so many people here on the internet that are just sharing stuff that is completely useless, and I want to be able to give you things that I would have wanted to know before. That way I didn't have to go through like all of this time and pain and whatever else I had to go through to learn the lesson. And then if my hindsight is your foresight, you're going to go way faster. That was a quote that I heard once and it just, it stuck with me. So today I want to talk about choosing books. For this purpose, like for the purpose of the video, I am going to use personal development books because honestly, it's just my biggest thing. Like, 90% of my books are personal development, and then the other are like mom books, whatever. So I have a bunch of these and I've seen a bunch of them too. So we're gonna just jump right in and we're gonna go over like how to choose books well, and then I'm gonna go over how to choose books that you want to probably just avoid reading. So first off, we're gonna look at some that are just popular ones that you see recommended often. First off, you want to be choosing people that you're following on social media. Like, I hear so many people, it's so freaking weird. Okay, get this, quick story. Last night, we watched stand-up comedy. I hate stand-up. It's really hard for me to get into it, just because I feel like if you're there trying to tell me jokes for an hour or two, I'm just not interested, and I'd rather do something towards my goals and purpose. So I'm just a party pooper in that way. And we watched 2 stand-up comics. The first one was like, I'm just bored. And he made like a really good series that was amazing, that I laughed at, that I really enjoyed. But stand-up comedy, I was like, no, switch it. And he was talking about social media and how it's just like an annoying, dark place, whatever, negative. And then the second stand-up comic, he was hilarious at the start. I was like super into it. And then I don't know if it was because my boyfriend fell asleep and it was like I was the only one watching it. I just found it was like not funny anymore. But he started talking about how negative social media is too. And I was thinking, well, you know what? If you pick people that suck to surround yourself with, because it's based on an algorithm of what you like, right? So if you pick people that suck, and if you are a negative person, that's what you're going to get out of social media. But if you actually start like filtering your information and looking like, do these people have the result that I want? Do they have the life that I want? And like, do they actually emulate the things that I want in terms of like morals and values? Like, I don't think that it's good to follow someone. So I'll give you an example like for sales. I know I'm talking really fast, but I just want to get to my point. So I'll give you an example for sales, like Jordan Belfort. Okay. Yeah, he's really great at selling, but the thing is he's a con artist. So do you really want to follow him? No. Because do you want to adopt everything that he's talking about? No. So here's the thing. If you realize that there are certain aspects of that person that you don't want to adopt, then don't follow their lead. And if you could say, honestly, I would change positions with you 110% in this area, then be like, yeah, you know what? That's definitely someone I'm going to look up to. Like, I get a lot of book recommendations from like, you know, people that I'm like 110%. I look at your family life. I look at your money. I look at your morals and how I see that you do business. And of course, like, yeah, the internet filters things and whatever. You're not going to see the full picture of people and you're not going to get that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You can give me whatever kind of fucking weird objection that you want to give me. At the end of the day, use your own judgment. Try to pick the best people that you can and then go from there. And then just think for yourself when you get the information in your hands. So first, let's talk about the most popular books, okay? So a lot of recommendations that you're going to get from good sources. You're going to hear about Napoleon Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And then you're going to hear about like the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. So these are like 2 classic books. Also, one that I want to mention, I have As a Man Thinketh in this book. And this book I want to bring up a little bit later because it's a little bit of a different one. But you're obviously going to have your classics. And I think that your classics is a really good spot to start because a lot of people, when they start off reading, they don't actually finish full books, which I think is like really annoying. And you need to get to a point of like having a certain level of self-discipline and just holding yourself to a goal, rather you want to finish the book or not, but you just need to finish Cycles of Action. Like once you start a cycle of action, you need to finish it. That way you avoid mental clutter, and it actually helps you think better. It actually helps you become a more effective person. So starting with the classics, that's a very good spot to start. And then you can kind of branch off from the classics to finding other things because you have reputable sources. So Stephen Covey, if we follow that, then we have Principle-Centered Leadership. So this is another one. I haven't read it yet, but just knowing the source of the information, then you can like go further. Another good source of information is like Dale Carnegie and Wayne Dyer. So here I have two other ones. Obviously, I do have How to Win Friends and Influence People. I have a ton by Tony Robbins. I have one by Simon Sinek, Start With Why. Leaders Eat Last as well. I'm really a fan of Trump. I really think that a lot of people are mainstream media followers and they just listen to whatever CNN says about Trump or whatever Fox News. I don't even know the fucking difference between those two. But here's the thing. When I look at Trump and I look at how many tax breaks he's got and how much money he's made, I'm like, that guy is a fucking G in business. And that guy is really good at marketing himself too. Because when you're marketing yourself, it is about getting attention and it's not really about getting positive or negative attention. So I think he's a G. And I mean, as to what I said before, like, would you replicate every area of their life? No, I definitely would not replicate every area of his life, but there's definitely a lot that guy understands, and there's some people that are just gonna play like, kind of like a wolf in sheep's clothing, but different. Like, he's a smart man playing dumb. So I think that he's really interesting too. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, anything by Robert Kiyosaki. I have like 4 books by him. They've all been good. Jerry and Esther Hicks is another one that I really recommend. Just really good source of information from there. These two that I have here are What Do You Really Want for Your Children? So this one actually is one of the parenting books that I have. And then here, The Quick and Easy Way to Effective Speaking by Dale Carnegie. And there's like a lot of courses that he actually wrote too that were highly recommended. And I think that mainly when you start surrounding yourself with really good information that works for you and it's just viable information from a good source, you're going to start to pick up on these things, right? So here, this is one that I mentioned. I have As a Man Thinketh in here by James Allen. And this is actually a book that has like multiple books in it. So it actually does start off with Think and Grow Rich, but I already have this. I have it like 3 or 4 times. I don't know why, but it's just a book that like just keeps on showing up in your life, even if you want it to or not. But anyways, here you can see like Napoleon Hill, Benjamin Franklin, James Allen, Wallace Wattles, Ernest Holmes, and Florence something or other. And there's just like a bunch of good information in here and a bunch of good books. Like there's Think and Grow Rich. There is Learning About Prosperity, The Creative Mind and Success, The Science of Getting Rich. That's a really good one. I listened to the audiobook. The Game of Life and How to Play It. That one I'm excited to read. But yeah, so this is good information. Everything that I went here, over here is good information. And then let's look at the difference. So everything that I have in this stack here, just take a minute. Like, I don't know if this is something that you realize, but like, look at the difference in how big these books are. So when you're getting good information, chances are you're going to have a source that has like a lot of in-depth stuff to go into. And granted, going in-depth in stuff isn't always the best thing. Sometimes simplicity is key. But all of these books are roughly the same size, which I think is just something that I'm going to highlight and throw out there. The first one, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings by saying that these books are shit and I'm not going to read them, but these books are shit and I'm not going to read them. So this one is called The 4-Year Career. It is basically about network marketing. I think that it's really fucking weird just because of like how, you know what? I actually never saw the table of contents. I thought I didn't have one and I was like so fucking confused. I was like, how do you make a book without a table of contents? But anyways, just getting into this book, it really sucks for the reason being, I don't want to be in network marketing, okay? So the information here might be good, might be bad, but it doesn't interest me. And so I need to know that, you know what, I need to move on because a lot of people, they stay reading books that don't interest them about things that don't interest them. And then they think that reading is the problem, but really it is the fucking books that you're picking that suck, okay? So this book, I don't know if the information is good or bad in it, but I can tell you that that's why I'm not reading it. Now, next I want to talk about this. So, Anne Rooney wrote these books, okay? And how to think like a psychologist, how to think like an economist. Okay, so economy and psychology are two completely different things. Why do you think that you know enough to write a book about it? You're clearly not an expert, because otherwise you'd be a psychologist or you'd be an economist. These things are two completely separate things. And if you are following an expert, like Grant Cardone knows about real estate, he knows about business, he knows about money. All of those things go together. Economy and psychology, at the moment of evolution that I'm at right now, I don't see how they go together. So I see that you're picking up the basic stuff. And when I look in the book, it looks like a very basic written book. It looks like something that you would see in like preschool. So this is a no for me. Same thing here, okay? These are two different authors, but they look very similar. And it's just like very simple stuff. Like just by reading it, I want to show you. So this one, like, it goes over happiness. I actually did read a part of this book. Coping with grief, can optimism be learned, keeping a journal, something or other, dealing with setbacks. So it's just like, the reason that I don't particularly enjoy these books is because you can tell that it is surface level knowledge. Oh, another one that I'll give you an example of a book that sucks. Oh, another one by Anne Rooney. Man, I'm really hating on her today. I'm sorry, Anne. I really apologize, but I'm just trying to make a point. Is she a mathematician? Is she a psychologist? Does she work in the economy? Okay? You can't be an expert in all of these, which means you're mediocre. And if you're mediocre, I don't want to be mediocre. I don't want to be average. I don't want to hear from you, okay? You can stick it with like all of the 97 other % of people that have opinions that I don't want to hear, because you know what? I don't want their life. So, another book that I'm going to tell you about that sucks is kind of a more ironic one. For the reason being that I actually did read it knowing that it was going to suck, and I just wanted to like skim through it just to see if there was anything in it, which I already knew that there wasn't, that I didn't already know. So I told you, like, obviously if you've been following me, you know that I'm pregnant right now, and this is something that I take into a lot of consideration. Like, I'm a huge fucking nerd, so I need to read everything about everything. So I got these books when I went to the doctor, okay? And I was like, these probably are gonna suck, but let me just read through them to see if I learn anything. So there's like 100 pages in here each.